We all know raising a child is expensive with daycare fees, medical checkups, dance lessons, soccer uniforms, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on and on. Well, new government numbers now show the cost is actually going up. Here's CNN's Allison Kosick with more.
When it comes to having kids, most parents say they wouldn't trade them for the world. But there's no doubt about it, raising a child is a big financial commitment. New data from the USDA says families having a kid in 2012 will spend almost $250,000 over 17 years. That's $241,000 to be exact. It's up about $6,000 from the year before, and that doesn't even count college. So why the big increase? In the past year, childcare, healthcare, and clothing expenses shot up the most. But check this out. When you break down that $241,000, most of the money, 30%, goes to housing. That's followed by childcare, education, and food costs. Generally, the older the child gets, the more money he or she requires. Older kids eat more, they get involved in extracurricular activities, and they start driving and may need a car. But there's some cost savings if you have multiple children because there's a lot of overlap. Things like cribs and clothes can be used again. But eventually, they grow up, they move out, and start paying their own bills. I'm Allison Kosick in New York.
All right, Allison, thanks so much. Don't worry, with the rising cost of raising a child, there are ways you can save money. For example, did you know your teen could earn $75,000 before they're 18? Yes, that got Judd's attention a little bit earlier. Here to tell us how they can do that, publisher of Potential magazine, Pam Mashburn. Pam, thanks so much for joining us again. When we talked about potential, we didn't know we were talking about earning potential even before they're out of high school.
Yeah, I'm going to have to start using that as a slogan. That's a good one. But you know, we were doing some research, and you know, here in Alabama, we typically have our kids take the ACT.
Right.
But there is a test called the PSAT.
Right.
And for years, I always thought that meant pre-test, you know, pre-test for the SAT. But it actually stands for Preliminary Scholastic Assessment Test, and that's what a lot of colleges use. They'll use both ACT or SAT. Well, we found out that when you take that, it also qualifies you to be a National Merit Scholar. And if you become a National Merit Scholar, the opportunity to get your whole entire college and everything and extra money for books and technology fees paid for.
You can't do that with ACT. You have to take the PSAT.
Exactly, to do it.
Okay.
And guess what? You only have one time to take it.
Okay. So, but there are all these study guides and things like that. If you're very serious about doing this and possibly earning, I mean, when you consider you could get $75,000 for your education.
Yep, and the average cost for an education right now in the United States is $84,000. So we kind of said Alabama's a little bit cheaper, so that's good, but it is expensive to go.
Yeah.
And this is a way that if your child, we've read some statistics, says if your child will prepare like 150 hours, the possibility for them to get to that area is great. So if you kind of look at it in money-wise, it's like if my child spends 150 hours and they make $500 an hour because they just pay for college, that's great.
That is great.
To earn $75,000 with a minimum wage job would be about 10,000 hours. So we're going to go for the 150.
Absolutely. I think this is a fantastic opportunity that, like you said, a lot of people in our area don't know about because our guidance counselors have always pushed us to do the ACT, and oh, what a great feeling it is when you get those test scores back and they look good. But what if you got this score and then you could earn all of that money? And here we are. We're on the verge. Some people are already back in school. Those who haven't started yet start back on Monday. What do we need to be doing as we get ready to head into that, especially if you have a junior or a senior?
Well, and I have a junior this year, yeah, and so he is going to be taking it either, I'm not sure what date our school is going to have it, but it's one of two dates. It's either October 16th or October 19th. So you need to get them prepared. So we basically have 8 weeks. 8
that's
weeks.
Not long
no,
at
it's
all.
not. No,
Gotta
it's not.
go ahead and get started. And what do you suggest pushing them in the right direction?
Well, there's some different. There's some free prep pieces that are on. Excuse me. They're on the website. They're online.
Okay.
But you know what? If they'll go to their guidance counselor, they can get a copy for free of last year's test. And then online on the College Board website, who does the test, you can also see what the answers to the test were and explains them. So practice, practice, practice. That's really the key. When they go in there, they need to know what are the directions. I don't need to read the directions because I know the directions. The test is the same.
Yes.
Everybody has the same test, and it'll be the same format as last year, just
nice
a little
for
bit
them
different.
To have that little head start. Oh,
so yeah, so it's not like it's gonna. The words may be different, or the the problems may be
Numbers,
different, but they can understand what the test is before they go in there, and they won't have that test anxiety.
Makes a big difference.
Oh, it
really
does. We've got some resources on Potential Magazine's website, so you might want to check that out. But I also wanted to mention that one of the differences in like scholarship points for this is that, like at Auburn University, I was looking this up last night, at Auburn University, if you got a 32 on your ACT and had a 3.5 GPA, you would get free tuition for 4 years plus a $1,000 stipend.
Nice.
If you have that same and you become a National Merit Scholar, you get 4 years of room and board. Right now at Auburn University, that's the only way to get free room and board, unless you're an athlete, is to become a National Merit Scholar. Last year in Alabama, we had 455 students, so there's no reason yours couldn't be one of them. And actually, I also found online that University of Alabama has the most of any public university in the nation. They have the most National Merit Scholars.
How about that?
They had 241 last year.
And I know quickly you wanted to quickly talk about something going on in Prattville.
Right. At Prattville High School, they are hosting our Countdown to College seminar series. This is for parents and teens. It's a free event. We will have 5 universities there, and we'll be doing kind of a forum board. And so we'll ask them some questions. You guys can ask questions. But each university uses a different process for admissions.
When and where?
Oh, good point. August 27th, it's a Tuesday night, a week from Tuesday, and it'll be at 6 to 7:15 in their auditorium.
All right, thank you so much
Yeah,
for
thank
being
you.
here. I'll see you next time, and have a great school year, okay?
Oh, we will.
Okay,
Yep.
as your child heads back to school, something many kids and parents don't plan for is that impending pre-dawn wake-up call. Sleep specialists say the transition to an early bed and wake-up time needs to start weeks before the first day of school. Here's reporter Erica Edwards to tell us more about that.
A rude awakening is just ahead for kids who've been staying up late and sleeping past noon all summer long.
All of their biologic rhythms in their brain and their body are getting accustomed to that late falling asleep and waking up time, and we need to shift them to the school schedule.
Dr. Gary Montgomery is the director of the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Sleep Center. He says teenagers in particular need about 2 weeks to prepare for that early wake-up call. Parents can help by getting their kids up an hour earlier every other day until they meet that desired time for school.
Parents will notice that the child is naturally sleepy earlier at night as we march that wake-up time.
Establishing a predictable nighttime routine can help with the transition. Experts recommend quiet activities like reading a book. Young children may need one-on-one time with mom or dad to calm down and prepare for sleep. And when it's time for lights out, that includes all electronic devices. So when they're alarmed, they'll be ready for that first school bell. Erica Edwards, NBC News.
All right, Erica, thanks so much. Elementary school-age children need about 10 to 12 hours of sleep each night. Teenagers about 9. However, each child is different, and you'll know your child is getting enough sleep when it's easy for them to go to bed and to wake up in the morning. Stay with